Hello, in this video, we'll be going over how to design and draw a Mandibular Class III RPD. Before we start, it's important to have a plan. The posterior abutments on this RPD can receive any of the following clasps: the cast circumferential clasp or a ring clasp. The cast circumferential clasp can engage a distolingual or distobuccal 0.01 inch undercut, while a ring clasp can engage a mesiolingual or a mesiobuccal 0.01 inch undercut. The anterior abutments can receive the following clasps: cast circumferential, I-bar, modified T-bar, or hairpin. Both the I-bar and the modified T-bar are infrabulge clasps, which means they won't be compatible with any soft tissue undercuts or buccal vestibular depth that are shallower than 3 millimeters. I-bar clasps are made to engage a 0.01 inch undercut on the mesiobuccal or the midbuccal. Cast circumferential clasps can engage 0.01 inch undercuts on the mesiobuccal. Both the hairpin and the modified T engage undercuts that are 0.01 inches and on the distobuccal. For the anterior abutments, there does not seem to be any soft tissue undercuts, and buccal vestibular depth seems to be adequate, so we'll be going for an I-bar, searching for a 0.001 inch undercut on the mid-buccal or the mesiobuccal. For the posterior abutments, there seems to be a lingual inclination suggesting there's probably a 0.01 inch undercut on the distolingual for a CC clasp. If you're using an intraoral scanner for your diagnostic appointment, you could use the free online AI Dental Surveyor and Designer, which would allow you to virtually survey and design your cast. We will leave a link in the description for the software and a video demo. Or if you're doing this the analog way, then follow along this video to learn how to survey using the NAE Surveyor and draw your design on the cast and on paper. We will start by securing the cast onto the table. We want to make sure that the screw is tight enough so the cast is not moving, but not too tight as to break the cast. You also want to make sure that the occlusal plane of the cast is fairly level with the horizon. The first step of surveying is to analyze the cast. This is done using the analyzing rod, which looks like this. We'll go ahead and put that into the mandrel. The goal of analyzing the cast is to identify a path of draw that would require the least amount of adjustment on the guide plane areas. The ideal path of draw would require even adjustments on all abutments, rather than no adjustments on some abutments at the expense of the others. As we get the analyzing rod in contact with a surface to be adjusted, a space might appear gingival to the contact point. This means that the angle of the surface to be adjusted does not match the angle chosen for the path of draw, and this would require some adjustment onto that abutment. To minimize this adjustment, we might need to tilt the table in order to change that path of draw so that that surface would better align with the chosen path of draw and minimize the amount of adjustments needed. For this Mandibular Class III case, it seems like the current path of draw is adequate for all abutments and no tipping will be necessary. Once we are satisfied with the path of draw, it's time to switch out the analyzing rod for the 0.01 inch undercut gauge. We will now attempt to find those undercuts that we decided we needed in our initial plan. In order to identify the location of an undercut, the undercut gauge needs to contact the tooth at the shank and the disc. The undercut is located at the point of contact of the disc with the tooth surface. To mark that undercut, the cast is pushed away slightly and a pencil mark is made at the contact point of the undercut gauge, marking the undercut location. This process is repeated for all other abutments. Occasionally, we'd find that a tooth does not have the undercuts that we set out to find. This issue can be resolved in a variety of ways. We will leave a link up in the description for a video that talks about all the methods that can be used to address this issue. However, in the design phase, we will mark that area for modification using a red pencil. Now that we're done identifying all the different undercuts, it's time to draw the survey line. This is done using the lead and the metal sleeve. They're both attached together and then attached to the mandrel. To correctly draw the survey line, we're going to ensure that only the side of the lead contacts the tooth and not the tip. The side of the lead is rubbed against the highest contour of each tooth, and that leaves a line called the survey line. Anything under that line represents a degree of undercut. Notice how I'm using both my hands to undergo this procedure. The left hand is gripping the base of the table and is used to move the cast around, and the right hand is moving the mandrel up and down and around to ensure that only the side of the lead contacts the tooth. In most cases, only abutment teeth needed by the RPD are going to need to have survey lines drawn on them, and anterior teeth are most likely only going to need to have their facial and proximal contacts surveyed. With this, the surveying is completed, but in order to save the position of the cast, we need to tripod it. This is done using a .03 undercut gauge. The .03 undercut gauge is attached to the mandrel, and the mandrel is lowered so that it would allow that undercut gauge to touch the cast at 3 different areas without having to move the mandrel up and down. A red pencil is then used to mark each area of contact with the undercut gauge on the 3 different points on the cast. Now we're going to go ahead and draw our design on paper. I use the cast to identify which teeth are missing and mark them with a blue line going through the center of the missing teeth. I'll now use the red side of the pencil to draw all the different rest seats on all the teeth. I'll now go ahead and switch over to the blue side of the pencil, and I'll outline each red rest seat with a blue outline representing the rest. We will then go ahead and start drawing the retentive clasps on each of those abutment teeth. And additionally, we're going to extend little minor connectors out of these cast circumferential clasps. For the eye bars, the origin usually skips a tooth posterior to the tooth being clasped, like this. However, on the left side, there's only one missing tooth, so the origin is going to be in the middle of that edentulous space. Similar to what we did with the cast circumferential clasps, we're going to extend little minor connectors coming out of those rests. Now let's start the lingual plate. To do that on premolars, we're going to go around the lingual outline. But then on anterior teeth, we're going to go from one proximal contact to the other, draping over the cingulum and going to the next tooth, like this. And then transition to the premolar around the lingual and into the other rest. Next, we're going to go ahead and connect both lines of the minor connector that are adjacent to the edentulous space. And to finish off the major connector outline, we're going to connect the remaining lines on the outside of the minor connectors to each other. Now we're going to finish off the lattice by drawing little squares representing openings over each tooth. Since there's only one missing tooth on the left side, we're going to have 2 openings on both sides of the origin of the eye bar clasps, not necessarily lining up with missing teeth. Next, the denture base is drawn by using brown pencil and going from one proximal plate to the other. We're almost done with the drawing. The only thing left is to write up some information about each clasp next to its drawing. This includes the name of the clasp and the undercut that it's engaging. It's sometimes recommended to add a little bit more narrative, including the type of major connector, the rests, guide planes, as well as clasps. With that, we can now transition to drawing the same design, but on the cast. We will start by drawing our rest seats in red. The next thing to do is to draw the areas of the guide planes. Red denotes areas included in the mouth preparation. That includes areas like guide planes and undercuts that are going to be added or adjusted on the patient's mouth. We'll start drawing the occlusal rests. These are just outlines on the occlusal rest seats. Next, we're going to start drawing the retentive clasps. It's important to note that retentive clasps remain occlusal to the height contour up until the terminal third, where they engage the undercut. Reciprocal clasps, however, remain occlusal to the height contour for the entirety of their length. Draw the eye-bar clasps. We're going to start with the retentive tip that starts at the undercut that we've marked. For the left side, where there's only one missing tooth, we're going to have the origin of the eye-bar be in the middle of that edentulous space. So we're going to go ahead and draw that and connect it to the other lines of the tip. On the other side, we're going to start the tip the same way we started the other side. However, the origin is going to come out between the two missing teeth. When that's done, we're going to go ahead and start drawing some minor connectors going around the guide planes, like this. The same goes for the cast circumferential clasps as we drop down from the guide plate. Now let's start the lingual plate going above the height of contour on the premolar and then from one proximal contact to the other on the anterior teeth until we make our way over to the other rest on the other side. To make our finish line, we're going to connect the adjacent minor connectors on the insides of those edentulous spaces. Now we'll connect the two remaining lines of the two minor connectors to finish the major connector. To complete the outline of the lattice, we're going to connect both sides of the eye-bar origins to the guide plates like this. We're going to also add the two openings to highlight the shape of the lattice, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Now finally, we're going to add the acrylic resin denture base by using the brown pencil going around the elbow of those eye bars, and with that, the final drawing is done. And as you can see, it coincides with the paper drawing. You're now ready to go into mouth preparations. The same design concepts and drawings can be used for a final lab authorization used after a final impression for a framework. We hope this was helpful, and we'll see you guys in the next RPD video.